Check one, two. Check one, two. Check one, two. Check one, two. Check one, check one, two. Check one, two. Is it loud? Check one, two. Is it loud? Check one, two. Check one, two. Check one, two. Mic check one, two. Mic check one, two. YouTube. YouTube coming up. Hello. Mic check. 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 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2. 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2. 1, 2. Hello. Hello, hello. It's okay. Hello. Please, I'm not getting the name.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please let's have our seats. We're about to start the program. Please find a seat to sit down. We still have some empty seats here. Once again, I say good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On the behalf of Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, I warmly welcome you to the 2026 Economic Roundtable with the team building forward, unlocking emerging sectors for inclusive, resilient, and prosperous Lagos economy. Today, we gather to examine ideas, harmonize insights, and shape the next phase of Lagos State economic direction. Such distinguished assembly of policymakers, economists, development partners, sector specialists, academic, and private sector leaders. Your presence speaks to the importance of this conversation we are about to hold and have here. At this point, with utmost respect, I would like to acknowledge the presence of some of our distinguished invited guests here. At this point, please permit me to introduce to you the Lagos State Economic Planning and Budget Commissioner, Mr. Ope George. Also to be introduced, we have the Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, Mrs. Olayinka Ojo. A round of applause for her. Also here with us, we have the Executive Chairman of Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, represented by the SA to the EC, Mr. Abidin Akonde. Also with us here, we have the Honorable Commissioner, Mr. Akinyemi Ajigbotafe, the Honorable Commissioner, Wealth Creation and Employment. We also have with us here Dr. Olumide A. Olayinka, the Honorable Commissioner, Physical Planning and Urban Development in Lagos State. Also with us, we have the Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, representing the Honorable Commissioner, Mrs. Toke Benson. We have with us Mrs. Adebopo Oyekon Ismailai. Okay, I have to retake it again, please. Mrs. Adebopo Ismailai. Ismail. I'm sorry, ma'am. Okay. We also have with us here Dr. Folayinka Daniel, Chief Resident Officer, Lagos State Resident Office. Also with us, we have the lead speaker for this program in the person of Professor Biodun Adedipe. You're welcome, sir. We also have with us Professor Olusegun Vincent, Lagos Business School, Pan-Atlantic University. Professor Biodun Adedipe is from B. Adedipe Associates Limited. Another round of applause for him, please. So as we welcome, thank you for making our time to be here. And a special acknowledgement to the members of the Economic Intelligence Department for putting this together. So, with utmost respect, I would like us to please stand and take the national item. think you're supposed to project it. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this roundtable is more than an event. It is an agenda setting platform. We are here to dialogue, to interact, and to discuss extensively on the next phase of the Lagos State economy. So, as we kickstart this program, please let me officially invite the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Economic Planning and Budget, Mrs. Olayinka Ojo, to come give our opening remarks.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I would like to set the protocol a bit right because we are government people. First of all is the fact that except we are in a national function, we recite only the first stanzas of the national anthem. So please take note of that. And secondly, and most important to me, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the esteemed Lagos State Executive Council that are present of the host ESCO member to welcome his colleague. I want to acknowledge my commissioner, Mr. Ope George, the Commissioner for Ministry of Economic Planning and Budgets. And mentioning him first is just by way of using him to reach out to his very highly respected colleague. We have Dr. Oluyinka Olumide, Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development in the house this morning. Thank you, sir, for being here out of your very busy schedule. We have about 4 functions in the state today, but because of how important this forum is to them, you can see that they have made their way here. Also, sitting here this morning with us is the wealthiest commissioner in Lagos State. And he has been an encourager to Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, Mr. Ajibo Tafe. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. We appreciate the chairman, LRS, who also is being represented by the special advisor in the house this morning. That's the pride of the state. There is no economic planning if LRS does not bring IGR. Thank you so much for being here, sir, this morning. In fact, if I find a special seat that is aloof, I would have put him on a higher seat, than everybody this morning. And thank you for the audacity, the intentionality in revenue generation that has continued to bring growth and development to our dear states. The very highly recognized, prestigious members of the most vibrant body of permanent secretary in Africa present in the house this morning. It is just one head and one body. Thank you for being here. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, my own dear friend, Adebo, Princess Adebo Oyekon Ismail. Thank you so much for being in the house this morning. Our lead speaker and every community of economists, academia that are in the house, by way of saying you are the host of this program, it is good to say that about 4 years ago, you came together to join government economics. It was part of when you said that you will hold our hand for 2 years, that by the 3rd year, we should be able to put something together by ourselves, that you will also vet and see if it is good for Lagos. A team of economists in and around Lagos, they've continued to be support to us without pay. and I dare say without pay. Dr. Komolafe, Dr. Biodun Adedipe of Biodun Adedipe and Associates, Dr. Hayo Teriba of Economic Associates, the body of research at University of Lagos in particular, who have over 15 years collaborated with Ministry of Economic Planning and Budgets in research. And I said to my commissioner sometimes recently that I think the state should begin to look at engaging these people not only for free, but by the way of, seeing how what they have done freely as freelance service, pro bono, should also bring some benefit to them. Sincerely, some of them will spend 2 weeks at our desk putting things right in terms of our research. Professor Shaibu, our daddies, the professors from University of Lagos, the professors and doctors from LASU, they have continued, the HOD Economy LASU. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Even it took a long time to draw our own university into this bus, but they are here now. At least in the last 2 years, they have been part of us, and they have been part of us efficiently and effectively. We want to thank you all. We thank you for your contribution to the growth and development, because the think tank and critical thinking itself forms the insight that drives the decision making and direction we're talking about. I'm not too much of a straitjacket or speech person, more so that I have grown in this process. I want to thank Dr. Vincent from Pan-African University. Sorry, Professor Vincent. You can see all the students were angry to say, yes. He was once the Director of Economic Intelligence in Lagos State for a short while. And as short as that moment, it was a short moment of building the template and framework that we will speak about today. Thank you so much, sir, for that investment. I can go on and on, but ladies and gentlemen, I want to sincerely welcome you all. I want to say the purpose for this kind of gathering is to ensure that we bring our thinking cap together and have foresight together to reshape the direction of governance through the indices that we develop for economic to scale. Lagos has, over the years, enjoyed a lot of economic stability through input from various platforms. The resolution of our economic summit has continued to fare well. We are one state that is very deliberate about our actions. And for all the past economic summits, we have generated over 200 resolutions. It is good to say that we have also implemented over 94% of those resolutions. This gathering, being the third of its kind, has projected some insight for government, has highlighted directions to guide governance, and to be able to reflect in some macroeconomic indices that will further, show stability in terms of our ease of doing business and economic development. I want to say that every recommendation that has come from the table of this outlook has been, taken care of in terms of implementation. Not only that, the very first edition projected some directional guide, which was very critically and apparently, stated by the time we developed our Lagos State Development Plan. You can see them in the buckets of the dimension of the Lagos State Development Plan. Those are small, minute, recommendations that has emanated from this outlook. We want to thank the Lagos State government under the leadership of our very audacious Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, the talk and do himself. Dr. By the Rome Business School, he was recently called the doctorary. So Dr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, a man with so much intention, a man with so much foresight, a man himself that is an analyst, an economist at heart, and action man in every way or sense of it. We want to thank him. It's one thing to project recommendation. It's another thing to have leaders who have foresight to take them and implement them. It's one thing for people who are busy in their schedule, like the researchers, the economists, analysts, all that we have in the room this morning, to come together and say this is the reasoning. It's another thing to have an efficient body of ESCO who takes it to their various sector and implements. And that's why I said Lagos has been blessed with technocrats, leading the ministries, departments, and agencies. We want to thank all our leaders once again. I thank you all for being here this morning. I welcome you to this very fruitful deliberation. And I will not close this opening remark without thanking the team at Economic Intelligence Departments, where I was once the Director of Economic Intelligence. I want to thank them for being able to take forward the baton that we handed over to them. Not only have they taken it forward, they have even taken it forward faster than I could run. Thank you so much for the good work you have done under the able leadership of Mr. Akim Kumialao and supported by Dr. Abideji. Thank you so much. You are welcome to this deliberation this morning. I wish us all very fruitful deliberation. I also wish us a future of Lagos where you and I can take pride that we are contributors even at this table this morning. Thank you and you are welcome. Good morning, everyone. Again.
Thank you very much, my permanent secretary, Mrs. Olayinka. Please, a round of applause for her again. Thank you so much for setting the tone as we start this program. Your speech was very insightful, and we appreciate that very much. As we go on the program, I would like to invite the Honorable Commissioner, Mr. Ope George, to come give his keynote address. A round of applause for him, please.
Thank you. Good morning. Pierre has just told me that I can stand on existing protocols, but I think it would be amiss for me to say thank you and say good morning, especially to my distinguished colleagues who I know forced them to come. They came on their own, So just to say thank you. It makes things easier for you, work creation, and you have physical planning. So any issues, I know that my house is safe. No one is going to break my house down. So thank you very much, your permanent secretaries. When I hear the permanent secretaries of Lagos State hail themselves, sometimes I want to, feel like I'm part of them. So I think it's wrong for me not to hail the greatest. She said Africa, but I think in the world, the greatest body of permanent secretaries in the world. So good morning. Then also, we have a lot of doctors, professors. So, one of the challenges I have is when I come to things like this, and I'm happy I don't have to do anything. I'm just going to read a speech. When you're having to sort of sit down and you can't compete or you can't say anything that doctors and professors can. So I'm happy I'm just here to read the speech and go. So to say thank you and good morning to all the doctors, professors, and hopefully I'll be a doctor one day. Dr. Daniel, please take notes. So thank you very much. So distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, captains of industries, development partners, members of the academic community, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed my honor on behalf of the Roundtable, a vital platform through which we collectively shape the strategic direction of Lagos State's economic governance, resource planning, and sectorial transformation. Today's discourse is both timely and consequential. As we draw the curtain on the 2025 fiscal year and prepare for the 2026 planning cycle, we are positioned at a point where reflection and repositioning are not just necessary, but urgent. Reflection because we must objectively review Lagos's economic performance across key sectors, technological shifts, evolving demographics, climate-related pressures, changing global markets, and complex socioeconomic dynamics. Our policies and investments for 2026 and beyond must therefore be deliberate, data-driven, and strongly future-focused. The theme of this discourse, building forward, unlocking emerging sectors for an inclusive, resilient, and prosperous Lagos economy, captures this mandate. It challenges us to build not just back, but forward, stronger, smarter, more innovative, and more inclusive. The sub-themes guiding today's conversations reflect the pillars most critical to Lagos State's future. A comprehensive review of Lagos State's 2025 pathways for sustainable growth in 2026. Urban regeneration and inclusive development, ensuring that Lagos we are building remains livable, globally competitive, and equitable for all. The Omi-Eko Revolution, symbolizing our bold commitment to transforming water transportation in a dry connectivity. The creative economy, from tourism to entertainment, fashion, film, and digital arts, where Lagos continues to stand as Africa's cultural powerhouse, emerging global brand. Ladies and gentlemen, Lagos stands at a decisive moment in its economic evolution. Our population is youthful, our private sector remains highly dynamic, and our governance structure is increasingly driven by data, technology, and performance-based planning. Yet, unlocking the full value of these strengths requires collaboration, government working side by side with academia, the private sector, development institutions, and our communities. This roundtable provides exactly that opportunity. I'd like to commend every participant for honoring our invitation. Your expertise, insights, and shared commitments remains essential to shaping Lagos, our medium-term economic goals agenda, and ensuring that every Lagosian feels the impact of our progress. I think we're at a critical point in our development as a state. We just recently put out our 2026 budget estimates at close to 4.2. And then it then occurred to me that I think that was the size of the country's budget. I think during the time of President Jonathan's first budget was about 4.2 trillion or so. So, actually, as a subnational, we are actually, doing audacious things and looking at what we need to do in terms of being able to sort of fund that. So I think this is timely, and I think for us, we are whilst we can be victims of our own success, where we can't go back tomorrow and have a budget of 3 point so once we done 4.2. So we look forward to what 2026, 2027 will be at all. But just to say, I think for us and the future is all in our hands. And to say a special thank you as well to, I know the PS always singles out the Economic Intelligence Department because that's where she's from. But I'll say thank you to you especially. I'll say thank you to the other departments as well, because if not, they will not let me go back into the office. And just generally all of you at MEPD for the hard work you do. So just to say thank you, say good morning, welcome, and I hope we have a successful deliberation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, our Honorable Commissioner, Mr. Ope George. Thank you so much for your leadership, which is deeply appreciated. We do not take that for granted. And because of that, MAPB keeps on shining and moving forward. Another round of applause for him, please. We are to go into the goodwill message, but please permit me to quickly go through the protocol list and acknowledge some few people that just came in. I would like to acknowledge the essay of Blue Economy, Mr. Oluwadamilola Emmanuel. You're welcome. I would also like to acknowledge members of the panelists that are here. The moderator of the panel will be Dr. Amina Olorunlano. I'm so sorry. Olorunlano. She's from University of Lagos. Thank you very much. We also have with us Professor Olufemi Shoaib, University of Lagos. So the Honorable Commissioner for Physical Planning was introduced before, Physical Planning and Urban Development, but I didn't put Doctor, so I would like to put Doctor again. That's Dr. Oluyinka Olumide. You're welcome, sir. We also have with us Professor Samuel Iola Uni, Professor of Geography with a specialization in transportation, logistics, and spatial planning. UNILAG. You're welcome, sir. Then we have with us Mr. Abuchi Peter Ugu, the CEO of Chocolate City. You're welcome. Once again, I would like to introduce my permanent secretary. I've gotten enough tutelage on the right way to pronounce her name. So with respect and deep apologies, once again, I would like to introduce Princess Adebopo Ismail. You're welcome, ma'am. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transportation, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture.
To look into and the various challenges and how we can overcome the challenges. This gathering is important for us to actually look into the future of what will likely benefit the state in terms of various interventions the experts present here they deem fit that will actually help to propel the wheel of the progress of the state. So it's on that note I want to make it very short to commend the organizers of this particular forum, 3 years running. I remember the first roundtable when I was invited by the now permanent secretary. She was the director then. She pioneered this particular roundtable, and I'm very happy that she's still very much around to see through this. I would like to actually commend her efforts and visionary leadership style and everything she has done to sustain this. And of course, to commend the members of Economic Intelligence Department. You have grown big because when I was there, it was a unit, and some people with the assistance of Commissioner then and Permanent Secretary uplifted the unit to become a department, knowing the importance of that particular think tank unit and try to give it a befitting status. To the commissioner and the entire MEPB family, I want to congratulate you and to thank you for making this forum a possibility. And I want to enjoin everyone present here, members of the public sector, private sector, and academia, to feel free and contribute in a way that will help the state and enjoy this particular roundtable and make it a successful roundtable. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Olusegun Vincent from Lagos Business School, Pan-Atlantic University. It's always a pleasure having you around. We do not take that for granted at all. Another round of applause for him, please. Also with us online, we have Professor Taibat Lawan Singh from University of Lagos. They're trying to do the connection. She's here online. We also have Dr. Hayo Teriba, Economic Associate, also online. So as soon as we can get the connection on, we will bring them to this to give us the goodwill message. Are we getting close? Okay. So I will invite the moderator for the next session, Professor Olusegun Vincent, to join me here, please. Okay. So, Professor Olusegun Vincent is a professor of corporate finance in the School of Management and Social Sciences at the Pan-Atlantic University, Lagos Business School, Lagos, Nigeria, where he teaches undergraduate and postgraduate courses in corporate finance, risk management, taxation, corporate governance, research methodology, and advanced quantitative techniques. Before now, Segun was the head of Economic Intelligence Unit at the Lagos State Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, had senior roles in the banking industry, and advisory services manager at Ernst & Young. He also leads a team of professionals who render high-profile jobs to the private and public sector at Goldwine Advisory. He leads the firm's services in corporate valuation, risk management, internal control over financial reporting, ICFR, outsourced audit services, internal audit evaluation, transfer pricing advisory, sustainability, corporate governance, process review, and documentation. To the public sector, it helps build capacities for the budget process, medium-term expenditure framework, MTEF, and other high-profile jobs for the federal and state governments and multinational companies in Africa. Segun holds a PhD in finance from Brunel University of London, an MSc in business and financial economics from University of Greenwich, London, and an MA in managerial psychology from the University of Ibadan, Nigeria, and a BA First Class Honor in accounting and finance from the University of Derby in Durban. He also holds a said business school, University of Oxford certificate in sustainability reporting and ESG data management. He is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, FCA, and an Associate Chartered Institute of Taxation, ACIT. Segun has published in reputable journals, is currently a member of the Senate Council of Pan-Atlantic University, and a non-executive director on the board of reputable companies. I present to you Professor Olusegun Vincent, PhD, FCA, ACIT. A round of applause. So you have the floor for the next session.
Okay, I have the honor to invite the lead presenter in person of Professor Biodun Adidipe. You can come on stage so that I read your profile. Welcome, Prof. Professor Biodun Adedipe, PhD, FCIB, FCIOD, FERP, FIMC, FICBC. Professor Adedipe is the founder and chief consultant of B. Adedipe Assets Limited, BAA Consults, with over 44 years of postgraduate work and professional experience in university teaching, investment banking, project finance, management and financial consulting, as well as leadership in business and not-for-profit organizations. Biodun has made an illustrious career that took him through the University of Lagos, Enterprise Consulting Group, the World Bank African Region, International Merchant Bank PLC, and First City Monument Bank PLC. He received his doctorate degree in industrial economics, specializing in corporate finance from the University of Lagos in 1989, and BSc in economics first class from the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, in 1980, and bagged several awards as visiting doctoral student to the University of Sussex in United 1984. He is a member of several respected bodies and membership organizations, including the Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria, a fellow and council member, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, fellow and chairman strategy and advocacy committee, the Nigeria Economic Society, a life member, American Economic Association and Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, a council member and chairman, Economic and Statistics Committee. He is also a member of the editorial board of NDIC Quarterly Journal and Bank of Industry Journal. Biodun founded BAA Consult in February 1993, and he was responsible for charting and managing defense strategies and activities since operations commenced in March 1994. He retired into advisory role in the firm with effect from June 2024. He sits on the board of a couple of profit-making and not-for-profit organizations in diverse capacities as chairman, non-executive director, and independent director on the boards of those companies. I present before you Professor Adedipe, our lead speaker for today. A round of applause. Keep it coming, please. A applause for him. Thank you very much. So, our lead, that is our lead presenter. We have second presentation to be taken by I would like to invite Professor Adedipe to take his presentation. You want to have it here? You can come over, sir.
A very to you all, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, especially acknowledging our host commissioner and the commissioner's present here, Ms. Is. Let me stand on the existing protocol and go straight to the business. Looking at the agenda, I also observed that I have only 10 minutes. So, and that informed what I decided to speak to, so that other speakers can cover other areas. And also a big thank you for having me stand here this morning to speak to this issue. So now, I like putting things in context. And the context I chose this morning is to look at what is happening globally, and I also identify problems that are common to developing countries around the world. 5 of them I identified here, and I refer to them simply as food deficit, energy deficit, manufacturing deficit, infrastructure deficit, and housing deficit. Now, all of these 5 deficits also, of course, appear in varying degrees in Nigeria, which is our own territory or geography, if you like to put it. Now, putting it in context of what we are here to do today, this is where Lagos State government, in my own estimation, comes into the equation. And I put it simply this way: what are we providing or helping Lagosians, that is individuals and corporates, to produce in order to bridge these gaps? Which case, if we are going to have a Lagos that is different than the gaps, now taking that further, and I went back to a particular statement that I mentioned here, roundtable, when I was privileged to credit to Brand, Poor, and Martin. They said, rich nations count the gains of growth for the higher wages. That means, are we looking at how to create an environment where quality jobs, not just any jobs, are being created in Lagos State? Then, of course, larger profit. That speaks to enterprises, profit-seeking enterprises, that we now look at Lagos as a place to be where we can create wealth, all right? Then, of course, more employment. That speaks directly to job creation, and, of course, expanded business opportunities. Now, that is what rich nations do. And I think that is what should be our own direction in Lagos State. But they went on and said, poor nations focus more on poverty alleviation. So, which means our focus should move away from poverty alleviation, but rather create an environment where these 4 things can happen: higher wages, larger profits, more employment, and, of course, expanded business. So, my interpretation is this: that we must focus on expansive wealth creation, which means it's not just wealth creation, but expansive one. That means to expand the scope for wealth creation. Because the more wealth is created, in fact, my interpretation is simply this: that if I have to choose between wealth creation and job creation, I will choose wealth creation. And it's very simple. When you create wealth, the wealth you create will create jobs. And so that means, like I teach economic policy analysis at James Hope University currently. And when I teach my students in that, what I tell them is that when it comes to economic policy, there are 3 components to that. There's the policy, which is the intent, what you want to achieve. You want to build a bigger Lagos, we build forward, build a resilient economy. That is the policy intent, all right? Now follows the programs. Programs will define now what we do in order to achieve what we have declared as our intent. Then following the program will be projects. Projects now are peculiar and specific activities that we're going to carry out in order to deliver the programs that will deliver the policy intent we declared. Now, if we are going to therefore build bigger into the future, then we must be intentional about expansive wealth creation. Now, I then ask myself, what are the options? And I don't have a long laundry list. Number 1, we must continue to track the share of Lagos State GSP in national GDP, which means it's not just about the economy in Lagos State, but what percentage share of the national GDP is it? So that share is what we want to track, that it is growing steadily year after year. So which means we take account of the size, we take account of the growth rate, and we take account of the share. The ranking is now not just among African countries, but selected other similar economies that have similar attributes. Then I put something there which is very common, in countries where the race system is very, pervasive and running well. Mind the gap. Mind the gap simply talks about that platform you stand on at the train station and then the rail track. They mind the gap. So, but the gap I'm talking about here in this context is if we take the next 2 states in Nigeria in terms of GDP and compare with Lagos, what is the gap between them? We want to also ensure that as we are growing the economy and deepening it, we want to ensure that that gap keeps increasing. And of course, when I put that down, what came to my mind was what happened to one of our clients from 12 years ago. when they invited us to do their first 5-year strategic plan. I'll mention the name shortly, okay? And they said, we want to grow the number of clients we have from 700,000 in 2012 to 5 million in 2017. We began the journey with them. And by the time we got to 2017, they didn't get 5 million clients, but they were able to achieve revenue and profit greater than what we projected for 5 million. So we now say, for the next 5 years, what is the aspiration? That's okay. The aspiration is to become double the size of number 2 in the soft sector. So that was what came to my mind and made me put in here, mind the gap. So what then are the major sectors? Because it's part of what we are discussing today as well. What should we focus on? So I picked out technology, financial services, and of course, real estate. And of course, within that context also, I picked out metrics to measure. We should be measuring diversification. We should also measure innovation. We should measure sustainability. Very important, because everywhere around the world now we talk about energy transition. Okay? Investment in people. You see that as one of the 4 pillars of 2026 budget. And of course, the number of big players in the key sectors. And when I put this down, my mind went to Dangote Refinery. If you listen to Aliko's story, Lagos was not his first choice. The Lagos went for him. And that's what I'm trying to put forward here. So any sector of interest to Lagos state government, we look for big players there and we go for them. In which case, we'll wait for them to come to us. We will be the ones to go for them. And I can say a lot on that. The Ghanaian government done that a lot. And they've done that to a few of my clients that have their footprint in Ghana now. So what I now put at my final slide is, I call it relentless. So now I had this in my first presentation in 2021, but what we have as the bylines there have changed. The bylines reflect my understanding of Lagos state economy as of today, and that is, we need to deepen intermodal transportation. It's going to be fine in the end, full stop. If it is not fine, comma, then it is not the end. So I want to thank you so very much for having me. So, Prof.
Before I give a summary of actually done justice to unlocking emerging sector, Lagos economy, Dr. Ayo Teriba is online, allowing to give his goodwill message. Can we get him on?
I'm on. Good morning.
Okay, you can go ahead, Prof. Good morning, Prof.
I'm on. I'm on.
Good morning, Prof.
Eh?
Morning, Prof.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. You very much. You very much. You very much.
Yes, you can. You can.
Can It's my camera. It's my camera. My camera. Yeah. Yeah. Please confirm you can hear me. Please confirm you can hear me. Please confirm you can hear me. Okay. Okay. Let me know when I have the floor. Let me know when I have the floor. Let me know when I have the floor.
You have the floor, sir.
Hello?
You have the floor now. You have the floor, sir.
Hello? Okay, thank you very much.
You have the floor now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me say, honorable commissioners and then the permanent secretary and other permanent secretaries present. Thank you very much for the opportunity to make a few remarks, a few goodwill remarks, and the paper presenters, led by the able prof that has just presented his paper, and a very distinguished audience. It's my pleasure to be a part again, but as always, I endeavor to at least join virtually. My first point is to congratulate the state of Lagos for maintaining its leadership position among the 36 states and the FCT as the state with the where the state is able to mobilize the most financial resources. I was glad to listen to His Excellency present the budget 2026, and the 4 trillion budget is heartwarming. More than 3 trillion in IGR is equally heartwarming. Recently, I've had to do a checklist of the contribution of states to Nigeria's recovery trajectory. And you recall that my engagement with us in the past rested on 4 pillars. Am I still audible? In terms of physical asset making, Lagos State remains in the lead in connecting places. So our able doctor spoke about intermodality. Lagos State perhaps is the only state that has the 4 modes of transport. In terms of human capital, Lagos State perhaps has the most universities, tertiary institutions, with hostels and the rest of it. In terms of value chains, apart from dominating commerce, trade and all sorts of commerce, telecoms, etc., Lagos is also in leadership with the pork production and the coconut in agriculture. And in terms of portfolio, Lagos has a growing portfolio. The resources that we have. For example, yes, a few sporting activities take place in Lagos, but I would like Lagos to return to the prime position when in the past, most FIFA-rated football matches. Hello? Danny?
Go on, sir.
Okay, most FIFA-rated football matches could only take place in Lagos. There are rival states now, and I would want Lagos to do something about that gap that is emerging. that we need to do something about it. If National Stadium could not work, what could the state of Lagos do? And then in the past, most conference facilities could only, the best conference facilities were here. A few states are boasting now of capacity to host 20,000 conference. I want us to also think about that. We have the places where those transport systems lead to, so that we are not only building more for Lagosians, but we are ensuring, that we attract the crowd and we use what we build more intensively. I expect that we can say more of all of this when we gather again to discuss the LEDU sometime, next year, that we could keep a focus, on how we could harness the strides we have made in physical capital building, in human capital development, in value chains, and in the portfolio of the companies that the state owns. If you can still hear me, I would like to wish us well for the rest of today's deliberation. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dr.
If you are,
Thank you.
you are connected.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ayoteriba, for the goodwill message. I would equally like to take the goodwill message of Professor Taibat Lawansin. Can we have her, please? Can you have Professor Taibat Lawansin? Is she online? Okay, Prof, you can go ahead. You have the floor, please. Yeah, but okay. No, she can't take presentation yet. It's goodwill. Okay. Before going into the second presentation, I would like to do. She's on now. Prof, we want to have your goodwill message now, and you make your presentation later. Is that okay by you? You are muted.
Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, rather.
We can hear you. Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon. So thank you very much for the opportunity to share a few thoughts, and I'll just go right ahead and share my screen, if that's okay.
To make your presentation, Prof.
All right, thank you.
But before you do that, ma, maybe because you are online and there's a bit of mix up, let me quickly do a brief readout of your profile, ma. Professor Taibat Lawansin, PhD, is a Liverpool Professor of Planning and Heritage in the School of Architecture at the University of Liverpool, United Kingdom. She's also Professor of Urban Management and Governance at the University of Lagos on leave of absence. She holds a urban and regional planning from the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Nigeria. With over 25 years of professional experience. Professor Lawansin is an urban planning and development specialist. He has went for intersectorial work, which engages students, policymakers, local communities, and civil society actors. Our research, advocacy and policy engagement work focus on the interface of social realities, urban realities, and the quest for spatial justice in Africa. She has participated in development of various policy documents leading to a new urban agenda, Nigeria National Economic Development Plan 2021 to 2025, Lagos Urban Renewal Guidelines, Niger State Development Policy, Ikorodu Sub-Regional Master Plan, and Lagos Diagnostic Study, just to mention a few. Professor Lansing is a pioneer World Social Science Fellow of International Social Science Council, a Fellow of Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, Global Research Fellow of the Peace Research Institute Oslo, and an alumni of Rockefeller Foundation, Bellagio Center. I have before you the guest of honor here and participants, Professor Taibat Lawson. A round of applause. Prof, you have the
very much for, yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. I hope you can hear me and see the slides. Today, I'll be speaking very briefly on urban regeneration and inclusive development and sharing a few thoughts on what we should be looking at in the context of Lagos. And my presentation is anchored on 4 questions. What is urban regeneration? Why does it matter for Lagos? What are some opportunities for a livable Lagos through the urban regeneration pathway? What is the economic advantage in this pathway? And how can we ensure that no one is left behind? Economic case for entrepreneurial planning, thinking about an economic endpoint. It's also an opportunity for aggregating existing material and intangible resources in a systematic manner. And it brings back underutilized urban assets, and it's an opportunity to redistribute opportunities and increase urban prosperity, which is the anchor of Lagos State development. Urban regeneration follows 4 main pathways. First is creating new values from obsolete spaces, thinking about, responding to urban challenges, experience, and essentially seeking to improve the urban resilience, sustainability at the fulcrum of development programs. And that is essentially what urban regeneration is. Renewal of obsolete spaces, ensuring that social experience, the place-making opportunities in the city, and ensuring environmental sustainability along the way. City. We've been in existence from the 15th century, and that tells us that we have generations of heritage leveraged for regeneration. Lagos is also a preferred destination. But along this is the unfortunate reality that over 70% of us live in slum-like conditions, live in multidimensional poverty, and this must be addressed in thinking about the future of cities, of the future of Lagos. There is also an extensive economic potential at the bottom of the pyramid, particularly with regards to local businesses and local enterprise. Now, the second question about the opportunities of livable Lagos through the urban regeneration pathway. From the World Cities Report in 2024, there was a call for cities to prioritize housing, infrastructure, and services, particularly in underserved communities, focusing on community-driven approaches, participatory decision-making, and pathways for strengthening adaptive capacity. Now, livability indicators cut across 5 main groups, and these were highlighted to a certain degree by the first speaker. And those are the things that actually, and these were highlighted to a certain degree by the first speaker. And those are the things that actually make for. Now, this is not urban regeneration, forced eviction, demolition, and there is a rethink how we are renewing the city or building, transforming the city into the that we go beyond this destruction of assets to find a way to work with the people in a way to move us to the Lagos of our economic advantage for an urban regeneration pathway, or 3 main factors, I beg your pardon. Destroyed or removed, but it's simply repurposed for us to ensure that the city we are building, spaces that are being produced, are functional, cultural, and economic. And the third is catalytic. By focusing on local businesses and communities, we are able to ensure that the city's economy is growing. And I will just give a quick case study of the city we're currently residing. The Liverpool Docks is a case study of where urban regeneration is being done right. And so the opportunity was to of the docks, to boost the economy and to foster pride and cultural continuity in the city using environmentally friendly approaches. And what we have is a dock that was very functional at the beginning of the 19th century, late by the 1980s, and there was an idea, there was a plan to reclaim and regenerate that piece of historic asset in a way repairs and improves the image of the city by putting it back on the map as an investment location and visitor destination. I dare say these are also some of the priorities that Lagos has articulated over the last few years. And what we have now, as a result of that intentional act of regeneration, is a city that has been ascribed the 7th best city in the world for affordable culture and creativity. And it's also the 2nd best UK city to live and work based on indicators of city livability, kindness of the people there, and pop culture. And it has also yielded very good economic benefits because Liverpool has welcomed over 60 million people in 2024. The visitor economy has grown over 21% over a period of 3 years to over £6.2 billion, and it has employed over 58,000 people within the Liverpool City region. And that has happened without really destroying the function and the core identity of the city. And when thinking about the future of Lagos, using those kinds of opportunities, think about urban regeneration being one that embraces the social, economic, environmental, particularly every government activity is implied, is the contributions of the private sector, the civil society, and communities. And this is according to the World Cities Report. And so when we think about urban regeneration, it is not just the responsibility of planners, It is something that we all have to be intentional about, and we all have to put our best foot forward. And so what is the way forward? I will call it the 4 C's: collaboration, co-learning, co-production. And these have been articulated in the course of the conversation so far: collaboration among different government agencies, collaboration between government, academia, private sector, and the people, co-learning, which is very important. For example, we are starting a global urbanism and heritage masters here at the University of Liverpool with a focus on heritage and a focus on West Africa, and then co-design of solutions that communities have a sense of ownership and are able to immediate benefits at scale, whether at the community scale or even at a larger scale, and then the need for co-production. And I think that's where the opportunity really lies, so that in building as a brand, in repurposing Lagos, in redevelopment of Lagos, and in the regeneration of Lagos, we are able to ensure that it is something that everybody contributes to and everybody benefits from. So I will just say thank you very much for the opportunity, and I yield the floor back to you. And I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you very much, Professor Taibat Lawansin, Professor of Urban Management and Governance. A round of applause again. Before we progress into the second presentation, actually we've done first and fourth presentations. Let me quickly do a recap of what we gleaned from Professor Adedipe's presentation. I will summarize into 3. Professor Adedipe, in his presentation, Building Forward, Unlocking Emerging Sectors for an Inclusive, Resilient, and Prosperous Lagos Economy. He told us that as a state, we should give attention to the following sectors that he believes will drive the prosperity and growth of the state. These include technology, financial services, real estate. He made it known that we should actually accord these sectors implementation of the Omieko project, a comprehensive initiative designed waterway connectivity, modernize ferry operations, and promote sustainable maritime infrastructure across Lagos State. Through these and other projects, he has attracted substantial foreign investment and technical partnerships, including collaborations with the British and French governments, thereby accelerating the infrastructural and institutional development, waterways, and the broader blue economy ecosystem. He is a graduate of University of Lagos, United Kingdom. Mr. Emmanuel, an alumnus of African Leadership University, Public Sector Fellowship. He remains deeply committed to community development, stewardship, and capacity building, responsibility, and sustainability. I present before you economy, Mr. Oluwadamilola Emmanuel, to present his paper, and that is our third presentation, Omieko Revolution, Transforming Water Transport for Productivity, Connectivity, and Climate Resilience. Thank you. You are welcome, and you are most welcome to take your paper.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. I'll stand on existing protocol, but I think it's important that we recognize the Commissioner of Economic Planning and Budget, Mr. Akwe George, and also the EXCO members and all the PSs, and all the professors and everybody else who's in the room. Actually, introduced, and I'll be presenting the Omieko Revolution. So I start my presentation with a picture. This picture is a picture I've always had in my mind, but I got my team to be able to probably bring it out. So, like Martin Luther King, I had a dream. And that dream used to see me when I used to look at the boats on the far left called the banana boats. Countless times, I would not sleep too well because I could be called at any point in time that maybe there was an accident, a quotiton on the way, all kinds of things used to happen. And I would look out my window and see those boats, and every time they leave, especially in the evening when they're leaving for a corridor, I'm just praying in my heart and maybe set up a prayer warrior call and say, please let nothing happen once this boat is going, But eventually started to dream, and I think we've moved beyond trying to have a dream to beginning to see the dream. I'm beginning to live the dream. So where we're currently at now is where with the picture in the middle, where the state government partnered with Caverton Marine, who have conceptualized this concept of a more standard boat. And not only conceptualized, they also are deploying these boats now on the waterways. It's had its challenges, but it's still there, and we're navigating those challenges. But then where are we going? We're going to the far right. And I'm sure everyone can see that as long as you have a dream and you're pursuing it, you can at that dream. Next slide, please. So the Omieko project of the inland waterways. It's a project meant to be implemented by Lagos State Government in partnership with AFD, EIB, and the EU. It's a project efficient and climate resilient mobility so that we can, tie into the whole idea of integrated transportation system in Lagos. Next slide. Right. So what's the importance for project for Lagos State is to decongest traffic. I always tell people we are not going to get rid of traffic. People say, waterways is empty. Just put everybody on the water. I'm like, no. The whole idea to what? Decongest the road and also provide alternatives. Lagos is a busy city. You can't get rid of traffic in its entirety, but you can provide people with alternatives. They can have alternatives on the bus, on the rail, and also on the water. Secondly, is efficient and affordable mobility because we're taking non-fossil fuel engines, which sort as electric, and there's also opportunities for gas-powered ferries as well. And of course, the environmental benefits. Those are enormous, and that ties in with the Lagos State's Climate Action Plan. Of course, job creation, over 250 direct jobs, and more indirectly will be provided as well through this project. There's also inclusive urban development, which is very, very important to the project because we'll be seeing a transition plan for the informal operators. We'll see social inclusion and importance of LASWA and the content of this. LASWA is the implementing agency. Project integration as well happens with us as well. Alignment in terms of institutional readiness. The program was approved for LASWA, so that's something we're implementing. Two major consultants who have been procured and now who are working with us on the job to ensure speedy execution. And only recently, about a year now, we had our ISO 9001 2015 certification to manage the scale and complexity of such a transformative project like this. And of course, we're very big on community engagement and transition management. You've never heard of any kind of strike on the waterways by our operators. And those operators, trust me, they are very influential. They're about 90% of the sector. Well, not for one day have you had any fully involved with everything they are doing, and they can see where we're going with the development of water transport in Lagos State. Next slide, please. So this is current. This is what the breakdown is. It's a 410 million euros fund. 130 million is from the AFD as a loan. 170 million is from EIB, also a loan. And the EU grant that you ever give to any project in the world to this particular project. And they constantly, I guess, when they give you those kind of grants, then they'll be inviting you every 6 months to come and be speaking, because you have to come and tell them what exactly this money is going for. But yeah, but they did this, and they're very proud of this, and every time they're always speaking about this. And of course, there's on the side of Lagos State, there's counterpart funding of 40 million over the course of the years. And then there's 10 million, which we believe that the private sector will put into this, because they will make their money back. ITS system. ITS is intelligent ticketing system, which they will make money back through the tickets. Next slide, please. So why now, and why the urgent need for Ome Eko? I mean, this is a no-brainer. I believe everyone in this room believes that we need, diversified transportation in Lagos. It would severe road congestion. Our waterways, like they keep saying, is I maybe we're going to change that word to underutilized, or maybe just say minimally. But I know Prof will argue with me now. Professor O'Neill always call us out, and tell us, no, let's say the way it is, but it shows that we're progressing. And I think over time we started to utilize it, but we can utilize it a lot more. You saw the E1, and we've seen a lot more things that can happen. Of course, rising climate risks makes it very, very important for us to do this. And of course, safer and cleaner, more reliable water transportation through the kind of vessels that we will be providing. Next slide. Of course, Lagos's growing population. We know that because of this growing population, you need a lot more people to begin to use the waterways. And of course, it has strong international support, availability, and of course, the economic imperative for a greener Lagos that it brings to bear. Next slide. Okay, what's the Ome Eko going to provide? What's it going to actually do? What's it going to bring to the waterways? Well, annually, we're going to be looking to 30 million people. So averagely, we can say every month that will be somewhere around 2 million to 3 million. And that is very, that for us, you may say is ambitious, but it's very possible because of the amount of, we just need to be able to convince people and carry out a lot more awareness to be able to do that. We have 15 routes which we're going to fully develop actively on the waterways. And these routes are 10 major routes and 5 feeder routes which will connect boards. We're going to have over 75, between 78 electric hybrid ferries. There's still a lot of conversation on if they're going to be fully electric or electric hybrid, because hybrid is a lot of technicalities, because you have to make sure that you train all of the operators on 2 kinds of systems and how to manage 2 different systems, which is even a challenge for them, even internationally. So talk less of when we're coming over here. 25 will be upgraded. All our jets and terminals, 25 of them will be upgraded. Ticketing, security, charging infrastructure, and seamless passenger flow. And of course, every 10 to 15 minutes on major routes will ensure there's predictability of service. Digital ticketing. 140 kilometers of the entire inland waterways of Lagos, which is about 70% of the inland waterways, will be dredged and organized. And also, very, very importantly, there is a fund for the infrastructure sector to ensure that they can actually be integrated into this entire system as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so Ome Eko advances the Lagos climate resilience. Major emission reductions, we'll see about 41,000 tons of CO2 annually, which obviously we'll be avoiding. Cleaner air for waterfront communities. A lot of the coastal communities are seriously polluted as we speak. A lot of them. Reduce as much as we can for them. Of course, lower ability and support for Nigerian national commitments. Next slide. The economics, and I know this will interest economic planning and budget, because they're always saying, how do you bring in more revenue? How do you develop more revenue? And we've heard things around tourism. Of course, faster commutes lead to higher productivity. There'll be growth of waterfront commerce and tourism. Significant job creation, lower transport and business costs, strengthen the local industry, because this is very, very important that we do this and make sure for sustainability. Enhance economic inclusion, access for the riverine and peri-urban communities, and of course, be able to attract more green investments to projects such as this. Social, Will be a lot of the undeserved communities will be fully involved in this project. There'll be a lot. It's going to be fully gender sensitive, so a lot of women and vulnerable groups as well. Will be job creation and of course inclusive urban development as well. Next slide, please. Provides the infrastructure, but the private sector will run the. It doesn't mean that. They always say government has no business in business. Still, we will have our own Lagos ferry services as well. Plays a small part, but it will largely be driven by the private sector because they will to ensure maintenance and sustainability without putting any burden on the state. Risk sharing, of course, we'll share risk with the operators, and the regulatory and infrastructure risk will be shared by government. It will be a data-driven operation. Your speaker speak about data. Data is so important. The PS was data, and I think it's data that will help us make informed decisions. And of course, there'll be structured tariff and revenue plan. Next slide, please. Next slide. Sort of what the terminal is going to look like, just to begin to give a picture. Very big on pictures, and those pictures are pictures we sleep with. Make sure everybody can see where we're going, so that when you know that you are dropping your standards for excellence, you're challenging yourself and thinking of where am I and where do I need to be. So this is what the jets will look like. Very free sitting. As you can see, they'll sit freely, very well ventilated, of course, covered with roofs so that rain doesn't beat you while you're waiting for your ferry. And then you walk to the side of the ferry. Next slide will show you what it will look like. So we've actually shown two of our major terminals and what they will eventually look like when the new terminals come in. Up there is Falomo, our flagship, and then you can see that there's an extension of the terminals have been well created, and then you can see the actual ferries right beside it, and people will just get into their ferries and go on. Ikorodu there as well, there's an extension, and then there are multiple berths, and then you can see the ferry coming up alongside. This is just to give you an example of what it's going to look like eventually as time goes on. Next, I think I'm beginning to come to an end. Okay, I hope with those few words of mine, I've been able to convince you and not confuse you. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Mr. Oluwadamilola Emmanuel. A round of applause again. Mr. Emmanuel has actually demonstrated what actually makes Lagos to be very unique. Indeed, it's not every state that has that huge water economy, and we don't just have huge water base. We are making use of our waters not to carry out terrorism, but which in some places the water is used as a base for terrorism and water mafias who take over the entire stretch of their waters. But in Lagos State, we can feel it, and we can actually see the transformation in Omeoko from one administration to another. We can see the way the use of water for transportation has actually transformed the landscape of Lagos. We see when we are in our buses and the areas that are very, very open, you see some of our ferries commuting, carrying people from one place to another. I know the very common one from Lagos to Ikorodu. That one you will know. Ikorodu people, they actually depend on water service as a major means of transportation to beat appointments, to actually meet up with so many commercial demands. They don't carry their vehicles, but they use our waterways to actually commute. And of course, beyond aiding the transport system, is equally a very, very area of economic benefit to Lagos. In terms of economic benefit, is to both the citizenry and government. Most importantly, we the citizens, we are making best use of the water economy to grow our personal income and to, of course, improve means of to improve living standard of every one of us. He made mention of new terminal design. trying to go into future in area of Omeko, how the ministry has projected to uplift the kind of terminal and various stops we are going to be seeing in the next couple of months. And already there is capacity demonstrated from the multilateral institution trying to fund some of these in collaboration with Lagos. Mr. Emmanuel made mention of so many things we don't really know that are really happening around that corridor. Of course, beyond the economy, the Omieko transformation and revolution is a means of reducing major environmental externalities. We are converting our water to major investment hub in Lagos State and for the entire nation. So it's on that note, I want us to applaud Mr. Emmanuel again for opening our eyes to that unique aspect of government and of Lagos for that matter. Thank you very much. And that will be the end of our presentations. Unfortunately, I will not be able to take the presentation from the Director of Economic Intelligence Department. And let me equally inform, what we are doing here is a build-up to Lagos State Economic Development Update that will be coming up next year. I know will be coming for that next year. Madam PS, isn't it? For Lagos State Economic Development Update, isn't it? This is a build-up to that, and some of the things we are doing here will reflect in that particular update. And we are going to invite every one of you again to be part of that particular update. I would like to now hand over to, while you are having your tea break, in order to minimize time, we are going to continue. So I will hand over to our MC to usher us into the second phase of today's event. Thank you very much. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you very much, Professor Vincent. It's a pleasure having you up here with me. So we're to go in for the panel session, but before we do that, we'll quickly have a group photograph of our dignitaries just by the banner outside. So the honorable commissioners, the Lagos State Executive Council members, and the table of the permanent secretary. Can we quickly have a group photograph outside, please? ST, please coordinate. So they will join us soon. Let me use that opportunity to quickly introduce some of our developmental partners here. They were not acknowledged initially. So I would like to start with Dr. Temitope Adamson from Lagos State University. We appreciate a round of applause for him, please. We also have Professor Ogunlano from LASU, Head of Department Economics. Please, a round of applause for them, please. We also have Professor Akinleye. A round of applause for him. We have Mr. Chike Olisa, representing the Chief Executive Officer of Nairametrics. We also have Dr. Amina Olorunlano, University of Lagos. A round of applause for her, please. And we have Dr. Babajide Komolafe from Vanguard, a very reliable partners over the year. We also have Mr. Lukman Martins from Access Bank. Please clap for them. So, our next segment is the panel discussion, where distinguished experts will unpack today's theme and engage on critical dimension of Lagos State economic landscape. Just a minute, please. Just a minute, please. Enjoy your tea break. Just a minute. Before you go outside, just quickly finish your tea break. No, are you not joining them on the panel session? Okay. Okay. Just a minute, please.
Okay, the speaker. Yes. You're a speaker now. No, you are not the speaker of the house.
Six.
Yeah.
This is members of the panelists, please let's take a group photograph outside. Now, please. Members of the panelists. They are coming. Panelists, please. Directors in the house, come out. Please come out. Directors in the house, please. Directors in the house, please. I guess we are through. Our panelists ready? They are ready. I don't want to disturb their tea break. Are they ready? Panelists, are you ready to be called? Okay. So once again, can we reduce the music, please? Our next segment is the panel discussion, where the distinguished experts here will unpack today's theme and engage on critical dimension of Lagos economic landscape. To do that with me, the moderator will be Dr. Amina from the University of Lagos. A round of applause for her, please. With your citation. The citation of Dr. Aminat Olano, PhD. Aminat Olano of Economics from the University of Lagos, Nigeria. She has 17 years of cognitive experience in microfinancing, credit risk management, teaching, research, and advocacy. She is an adjunct lecturer at the Distant Learning Institute of the University of Lagos and a seasoned facilitator in human capital and management capability building on soft skills. She has served as a technical consultant to the Center for Gender Economics Africa, where she successfully handled policy dialogues and briefing on female inmates rights and empowering women in aquaculture. Amina is a full member of the Nigerian Economic Society, a fellow of the Center for Economic Policy and Development Research, Covenant University, a senior research fellow at the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, a member of the Advancement of African Women, and currently a postdoctoral fellow with the University of South Africa. I present to you Dr. Aminat Oluwalano.
Thank you so much. I'm deeply honored to be here. And
these guys, everybody, be it if you talk of education or action, in terms of environment. So these are things that are all covered by plans, which are supposed to guide the various development within the state. However, what we have seen, and last week we were at the assembly and we have a budget of 4.23 trillion. Now, if we want to commit this amount only to developmental effort, it's not even enough. It's not even enough. Now, the implication of that is that there are also other very vital sectors of the economy that will be making huge demand on that. We have security, for example. We have to ensure that Lagos is safe and continues to be safe.
We don't have water, don't have school, don't have health sector, don't have road, electricity. Government will fulfill the promises. As those infrastructure are coming up, at least the people will come to that area, they will buy the land off of these people, they will drag them away. So the infrastructures that are meant for the poor will be taken over by the rich, and then the people will remain poorer than before because they don't have their land again. And it's very interesting, very pathetic. In my own local community in Nisil, somebody came there to buy a plot of land and pay these people in 100 nairas in bundle so that they cannot count. So in 100 nairas, in 200 naira, pay 10 million naira in 100 naira and 200 naira. And what happened? They were unable to save that money. They spend it on parties and ceremonies. Because anytime on weekend, they will go and pick one bundle. And that's how they turn those people into miserable after taking their farmlands. So it happens, sir. That's what happens that when government is doing more, look at the kind of roads we are constructing in Ikorodu, how much the plot of land around Ibute now. And the road construction area is to make life for people there to better. But they are worse off in terms of people who were meant to benefit from the roads. What is happening with our hospitals? Bagada Hospital, check who are attending there now. They are not low-income people. They are rich people. Lagos Island Hospital, who are going there? Whereas improving those facilities were for the poor, but the rich have now migrated from private hospital to public hospitals. Our unity schools in Lagos, model schools, were built to take care the most aspiring student among them to go to that, to be able to groom together and make them. But today, going there, the poor children cannot go no matter how intelligent you are because it is now in a way maybe class. So we need to redefine our something to be able to ensure that developmental aspect of our economic policies is captured. So unless we do that, we can be talking about figures, the numbers, but when you go around, you may not see it in the faces of the people. So we must take that into the business. How many people can afford even the Omi Eco transport in terms of the poor? So we need to do that. And what I think we can do is that, like Professor, sorry, I forgot the name again. I didn't. So my thesis name is always what comes to my name first when I call professor, because my boss, just like if anybody talk about governor among Lagos State, is Governor Sanwo-Olu that come up. So you said something about the missing gaps. Aspect I want us to look at is the inequalities that are being created. The more we make more money, the more we make environment good. And Lagos State now, we don't have competitive advantage in territorial agriculture. We need to go into city agriculture, soilless, hydroponic agriculture. I had the opportunity of being in a school and Sarudin around Isolo, where they had a prototype there. The University of Lagos is responding to that already. We already established Center for Agriculture. We are partnered with Obole to create experimental, and we are working with a lot of organizations globally to be able to now empower people to cultivate agriculture even in their bedrooms. So now I'm not giving this a challenge, sir. In your planning, don't plan only for people to build houses, to build real estate. Let us plan to create small farms, small places where people can produce the basic thing we need in Lagos State. Challenge we have is food insecurity. So that's one thing I want 2026 budget to focus when we're talking about agriculture. Not that, because today, if you move to Ekpe, almost all the land there has been given to real estate and it's land banking. Nothing is taking place. Whereas from what I knew, those areas were for agriculture, and today it's taking off. So we cannot stop urbanization, but at the same time, we can incorporate agriculture into our urbanization strategy. So we should do that. Then again, on issue of monitoring and evaluation, in 2026, I want Lagos State to invest more on monitoring and evaluating the impact of the project they have done. I have this opportunity of interacting with many of our students who are into digital skills. Today I came with a lady who benefited from the tech training of Lagos State and she's doing fine. I have so many of them. And since they have graduated, I've not seen anybody asking them, how are you doing? What are the things you have done after graduating from this free technology that tech is going to have? Many of my clothes that I wear, not including this, are sewn by somebody who finished from the vocational center in Agege, that vocational center, and they are doing fantastic well. Where are the follow-ups? There are no follow-ups. We are doing so much, we are not capturing. We are focused more on our input and our program. We do not look at the product and outcomes. So I think in our Lagos Economic Development outlook, we should capture more of outcomes than processes program. So that we'll be able to take account of how much we have done. And I suggested, which I'm saying, can we create some indices? Where's our infrastructure quality index so that we can track it over
person going to Shagam or even Abeokuta, we get there before this. So why don't we take them in and have inclusive regional plan so that for the benefit of the people? Again, those are plans. All these other MDAs, when they talk as, of course, they are the one operating it, but those plans are emanated from planning. All the drainage routes are clearly mapped out in all our ODPs. If you pick up Alimosho regional plan, you pick up Ikorodu, Ibejuleki, Lagos Island, you see everything there that all MDAs are now supposed to develop upon. Drainage, okay, this is the drainage route, they plan it, it's already identified in the plan. So what they do is to define those drains. Should it be high drain? Should it be concrete? At what distance should people not move near it? Which of course our people will not listen and they will go and encroach on it and will demolish and they will shout. So these are the things that even last week we were at a retreat and what we have that Lagos and can even have 3 more airports. Yes, it can even have 3 more airports. One in Badagry, one in Ekpe, and one around the Ikorodu here. Yes, yeah, we're already working on that. Now, in terms of what you asked, if, like what the government has just done now by way of amnesty, it will interest us to know that ridiculously, the percentage of buildings with approval in Lagos State is very, very low. And that's why we go out every time shouting and talking to people, get your building approved. All those enclaves that are being developed, areas that people just move in, they will move in there with nylon and stick. From there, it turn to shed. From shed, it turn to bungalow of zinc. From there, it turns to main structure, which is not befitting, which is not supposed to be. So when we get there, there are some that we do with we cover with our lower order plans. These are plans for local areas that you can improve upon. That okay, let's go back and put road there, put drain here, and restrict them in certain things, give them some guidelines. But there are some that could not be like that. You just have to move. Oroshoki happens to be one of them. That you just have to move and come up with a holistic plan for that area. So we have realized in Lagos emphasis has moved drastically away from agric. And that's why we have committed very heavily on agric ops stations where we can be like a storehouse for taking agricultural produce. That's what we've done. Again, we also have plans for scientific agric process. But the fact is that people are not looking into all those ODPs. These are things that are supposed to be channeled by private sector. The government cannot go into do everything. No, these are opportunities that people can make money. It's so funny when people say the level of employment. The plans are rich enough that private sector can come in, and you can see what Dangote has done in Lagos. Another operator, they are also coming in now. Very soon, is going to have competitor. They already started discussion on that it should be another refinery, private refinery. Because people have started looking in that area because Lagos is so blessed that you come here, if you are serious and you do your business meticulously, and you definitely will make progress and you make money. It's open for that. Is Lagos for us. But we cannot expect the government to take charge of all these developmental efforts. There are some that are very basic. Even there are some parts of the world now that private people build prison yard. Yes, they build prison yard and government will send prisoners there and pay you. So who says it cannot happen here? Instead of us having congested prison yard everywhere, who said it can't happen? You know, we should, as private people, we should start looking at the opportunity because they are bound here, especially in Lagos, that is open to everybody. What we have they talk about tourism. If you look at Badagry, for example, it's a huge activity. A friend visited me sometimes ago from Kenya. In the morning, we move from VI to Ikeja, and in the evening we move back. And you look at the water, and he told me, is this water cost that people cannot do any activity on it. There are a lot of activity. I did a program in France, and from my house to the university, we go by boat. You just go down onto the basement of your house, and you enter the boat in your house. People buy boats instead of cars that we are buying here. And we already have it in our own plan to open up our water area, not only the ones you have now, Prof, but even the dry area that we can deliberately open it up, that from Ebutemeta, this water there, you can leak through Surulere. Yes. How many buildings are we going to meet on the way that you can acquire and pay them? Because the benefits you are going to derive from that kind of opening up is far, far more than paying compensation for whatever number of buildings you can meet along the way. So that's the challenge. The state, it's opening up. We encourage private people to come and participate in the development of the state. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Commissioner. So I'll move to Professor Oni. Considering the fact that the coastal communities are also vulnerable, and then the climate risk that is emerging, so you know that how could Lagos State try to, as we are have some kind of four-line protection where the community will be smart and at the same time resilient?
Thank you very much. I will say that the UMECO is conceived to do that, to ensure that the shorelines are protected. I said it the other time that the green line from Marina to Epe is covered by what they are doing. The blue line is also covered, the Marina too. Now, we still have a lot of other isolated communities that are just there. All we need to do is to carry out additional research, get data, and ensure that we benefit from the blue economy. The blue economy they are talking about is not just about maritime. No. Anywhere you are able to find water, riverine area, laguna system, and all those things. And that's what the presenter was saying, that when you are talking of blue economy, you have the issue of aquaculture, the issue of boat building, and all that. So there is a lot that those in the isolated communities can do. It's our job to make sure that we are able to capture them and sensitize them to do what is highly productive, not something negative. There are some areas around the Bejuleki axis where if you get there, the cost of all these seafoods, lobsters, so cheap, whereas because they don't have access to them, or they don't also have access to us there, it makes life easier, difficult for them. So their economy and the prosperity is not guaranteed because of a lack of transportation. And you know that most of those products that are even having over there, they are not working, get perished before they come to market in towns. So I like what the Honorable Commissioner said, that they are planning to do some other physical outlay that would ensure that water transport is taken to certain locations. Look at the Okeafa. Okeafa should have been a very, very good whatever. Access to the airport shouldn't be okay. Nigeria is a country whereby you go to international airport. No, you go to local airport. You are coming from Abuja. You go to the local airport in Ikeja. You have to carry your bag out and follow motorcycle or whatever. When you get to the international airport, you have already missed your flight. Yeah. So whereas you can just, there's something we don't appreciate. The power of transportation. I went to China recently. I visited 5 cities within 5 provinces, within 5 days. I went from Beijing to Shanghai with speed rail, 400 kilometers per hour. Then I went to some other Shenzhen and all those things at the speed of 298 kilometers per hour. So if you spend all your time on road or on useless facility to go to Oshogbo now from Lagos, it takes you 5 hours. Yes. A friend lost his mother. We went to Eruku in Kwara. We spent nearly 10 hours because of the bad road and all that. So we have to ensure that infrastructure is very, very key, and we have to, when they said those people went to Eruku to poor people, no hotel to sleep, went to sleep in Egbe. All the roads are bad, and they are all federal roads. So, we have to do our institutional arrangement very well in terms of all these facilities to know the ones that belong to federal, the ones that belong to state, and the ones that belong to the local government. No one should carry the other, whatever. So if we are able to do what we are able to do well, then I think we'll get there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor. Now to Mr. Peter. Like you rightly mentioned that massive transformation is going on in Cape Town in terms of creating creative hubs. And then something of such is also going on in Kigali and Accra. So we want to know that maybe in 1 or 2 points, what are the critical Lagos assets that we could utilize? And then how can these subsectors integrate to make sure that we unlock the potentials in the creative industry?
Yeah, thank you. I think just to commend the Honorable Commissioner, I think that just feedback, I think a lot is being done, but just even coming from the private sector and the youth-led, is I think maybe we need to work on the communication both sides. Because it's like, all the big companies in Africa have roots to Lagos, where you talk about, so I think we need to now start planning with data at heart and with having the young people as the center of the plan we're making. So if you say the average age is 18, in the next 5 years, those people are 23. In the next 10 years, they're 20, 27, 28. So it's very young population. So I think let's start. Just talked about food, we talked about the street life, thinking about 24-hour economy. In the heart of that, I feel like those are key parts we need to
Thank you so much, Professor Abuchi. Yeah. So
I'm sorry, just to add, I think another sector we need to think about is that the influencer sector, TikTok. Just from the agency side, I can tell an average TikToker or influencer makes between 200,000 to about 5 million a month.
We have to tax that.
No, but again, sorry, I'm not saying for tax, but I'm just saying like those are now sectors that most people don't know. Yeah. Like when my parents, they don't even know, they feel like, what are you doing as a musician? But in music, there's a whole ecosystem of how you could tax. Then now, if you go to marketing, people are talking about influencer marketing. A lot of people, and those people make most times dollars, USD, like they don't know. So I feel like those are a lot of things we need to now start thinking, and all from Lagos.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abuchi. I think you should obtain the doctorate form so you move up to. So maybe in just 30 seconds, sirs, I'll just need your closing thoughts, sir. Thank you.
For me, starting from me, okay. Thank you once again. We've been talking about the transportation, and because my essay made the presentation on Omieko, again, in the planning, Ministry of Planning, we've been trying to secure our shorelines by having some protective barrier. However, we have been tied down by this regular confrontation between NIWA and Lagos State, because I can't understand why somebody in Abuja will grant approval for somebody in Lagos to reclaim, and these are all challenges to things that we're talking about. Those are supposed to be in the residual, it shouldn't be in the concurrent. So by and large, I've spoken a lot about our plans. Although I do recognize the fact that, and thank God my brother just mentioned about it, we still have a lot of work to do on the communication and getting people to know. And that's why we are planning to have a website which will be open 24/7 online for people to go through and see all the various plans that we have for the states. And it's our belief that majority of these plans, not necessarily by the government, could also be handled by the private sector. We've seen what Dangote has done on the road, because he is the major user of that road from Mapapa to Iyanoworo. And he had to construct that road with his own fund on an arrangement with the federal government. And he is enjoying, this government too, they're also enjoying. So other people can also look into this. There's so many things now, and it's not only in Lagos now, it's everywhere in the world now. The private sector drives the development because they are the ones that will look at it more from the economic point of view. So they can go also into road infrastructure. In Lagos, I mean, there is no venture you go to that you regret. You definitely come out successful. So I encourage us to also look into some of these our property development plans and position ourselves to take advantage of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to maybe a little bit move to something else. My brother in Blue Economy just said something about the TikToks and so on and so forth. But my mind is this: all these tech we are promoting, we need to have a second look very well. If we are creating people who can do content development, digital marketing, and we don't have anything to sell in Nigeria, all we do is that we are also compounding the local problem because we are transferring jobs away. I know 90% of my students in economics are now more into tech. They have abandoned economics as a thing. And what are they doing? They develop apps that help you to buy overseas. They develop apps that help you to transfer money to overseas. They are actually personally gaining values, but the economy is losing values. So can we go from information technology to industrial technology, where people build apps that can produce even ordinary the copy of this, so that we have a value created in Nigeria that we can market to the world? And private sector cannot do that because there's no big immediate benefit to private sector. So it's the public. Can we begin to redirect our public-private partnership that identify some people who are well talented in engineering and co, and support them at least to be able to produce those small things we import overseas and begin now to have that to our value that we're creating in Nigeria. If we continue to focus on red meats, there's a day what will happen in the world today may happen to us, and then we'll be able to have access to that again, and the economy will suffer a shock. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just rather want to encourage all of us to use water if you are in Lagos. Use water transport. Use water transport. The Omieko is safe, and I'm not just campaigning for you, but I know that it's safe, and the issue of climate change that we are all talking about, Umeko is coming to do that. All those fights we have been giving to LASWA, we are now rest assured that they are ready to improve on the thing. And until you can imagine, you live in Ikorodu and you work in University of Lagos. University of Lagos to Ikorodu is just 8 minutes. We have tried it by water. Yes, 8 minutes just by the side. But you decide to go on your car. In fact, well, let's take Ajibola Bola Tinubu, who has increased the fuel. We don't have any lecturer now that carry car from Ikorodu to Unilag again. So we're happy for that. At least the level of so we need a lot of awareness. I want the ministry to put more attention on project evaluation, project monitoring, and ensuring that their performance really fits into the goal of the Mr. Governor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor, and every member of the team. We have come to the end of the section, and I must sincerely appreciate you for the insightful comments and contributions. So I'm moving back to the whole house. If we have one or two questions or comments to the panelists, and we would have to do that in 2-3 minutes. Yes. Where's the mic? I'll be afraid to give my professor time now, but
20 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciation to the panelists. A very quick one. Obviously, migration is a big problem in Lagos. Lagos is outperforming practically every state in infrastructure provision and all such. However, because it's part of a larger country, the failures in other states end up becoming a Lagos problem. Now, parallel this with what is happening in the US, where the border states had an overflow of population, and they got to the point where they were ferrying them from those border states into the blue states who were advocating for migration without feeling the after effects. Now, what is Lagos State doing in conjunction with, the states in the Dawn Commission to look at depopulating some sectors to bring relief to Lagos State? Thank you. Oh, I'm Oludun Akinleye, University of Lagos.
I think the commissioner should answer.
My name is Onimale Mobolaji, Director of Development Partnership. So my question goes to my Professor Shaibu. Well, we've all spoken well, but there's a particular part that we need to also contextualize. No development takes place in the federal environment in a space called federal. It still comes down to the local, which is being managed by the state. So the question is, what reforms do we need to ensure a uniform, transparent, and digitized ease of doing business to standardize development across the local government in Lagos State? And this is because we found that when we talk about external migration, we also have internal migration. People from the interlands are all trying to move to the central business district. What do we do to limit them to wherever they are, such that whatever infrastructure we have in Ikeja, Ikoyi, or even the mainland will be sufficient and sustainable and resilient at the end of the day? Thank you.
So, do you want to respond, or we take the last question?
Good day, sir. My name is Benga Salau, and I write for the Guardian newspaper. My first question has to do with the ongoing number renewal in Lagos. You find many communities where the state government goes there and demolish a whole community, send them packing, and you claim, the state government claims it's urban renewal, yet there are no alternatives for these people, and we're creating multiple problems. So why is the state government doing that, not considering inclusiveness? Let me give you an example. Last week, I think last week Friday or Thursday, there was a demolition in Oworonshoki, and I visited that community. Some of those who were chased away from that community were people who were chased, evicted in 2017 from Otodogbame. They claim that from Otodogbame, they went to one place, I think Misafejo, also within Oworonshoki. When they were chased away in 2023, they came to a place where they call Peace, Precious Seed, where they were driven last week. So if we don't plan, we keep extending the problem. I'm sure when they drove them away last week, they are moving to another community. They are going to create another slum community somewhere. So how are we going to create our urban development? How are we ensuring that is inclusive? The other one is about, you talk about planning, that your ministry is in charge of planning across Lagos. And it's been noticed, a lot of, the Ministry of Environment is doing a lot of removal. And some of those who have those structures claim that they got approval from your ministry. But the issue is that they did not go to environment. And logic will have it that since you are the custodian of urban planning, you should have the details of whatever planning that any building can. Once I get approval from it, I feel, oh, I'm good to go. Only for Minister of Environment to say, oh, you did not make so if I've gotten approval for you, so what approval am I looking for from environment? And the last one has to do with our infrastructure in Lagos. Some roads are built without labor. Some roads are built without bus stops. Let me give you a good example. The Lagos-Badagry Expressway. Orile is a huge commercial hub. Until of recent.
Please, can you help us summarize the question?
I'm asking the third question.
Yes.
Until of recent, where the state government is building a major transport hub in Maitu. Before, there was what they have in Maitu was just a little labor that obstruct vehicular traffic, and journey that should take about 2 minutes or 1 minute, you spend 5 minutes, 7 minutes because of government failure. The same thing, the Lasu to Egbeda Road, Igodo. Many of those places do not have bus stop, and as a result, vehicle pick passengers on the road and obstructing traffic and all that. And one wonders what kind of planning goes into providing such facilities. And you have a lot of that across Lagos. Thank you. My name is Benga Salau from The Guardian.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me start from the second one, which is urban renewal, where we demolish, and it's on record very clearly that there's never been any demolition done that this very government of Dr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu has not paid compensation. The one of they are clearly compensated, fully compensated. In fact, this morning I was even speaking with Barrister Falana, who was hired by a family. A part of the family went and complained, whereas the other part of the same family have collected the compensation. So we just settled that one this morning. So for this administration, there is no demolition exercise that is carried out that there is no compensation paid. Well, you will need to agree with me. Every developed city in the world, it's always like it's always quite expensive. If you talk of London, London cannot be compared with Manchester, for example, and that's why you have what we call congestion fee. There are some areas in the UK that you can't drive in your car into unless you pay some money. So it's not even in New York. There's areas like so. It's always very, very difficult. If you take Ikoyi, for example, or VI, somebody has a driver or a cleaner or whatever. how much salary will he be paid to enable him to live around that place? It's not possible. So for us, what we do, and that's why we have other infrastructure development like the rails, so that you can live in Abulegba, take the red lane, and come to CMS. You can live in Okoko, take the blue lane, and come to Lagos. The green lane is already starting now. So that's part of the expansion that we have. It's not peculiar to Lagos alone. It's everywhere in the world. City center is always very, very expensive. Now, regarding demolition by environment, the procedures are very clear. To today, nobody of those demolished buildings has been able to come up with their approval. No. What we have is that, like I said, you have the plan that we do, the ODPs. It shows the drainage routes, which the environment will not develop into a full-fledged drainage channel plan. So when somebody comes for an approval and is near the drainage canal, what we normally request is that you get a drainage clearance from the ministry. But what our people normally do, like the case at Oduyalaro, the estate got an approval on their legitimate land, but they have a vast open wetland beside them, and on their own, they decided to expand their fence and build additional structure there. So what is the fault of the ministry in that place? The environment will come and remove it. The one that happened at Ikota, lucky enough, there was heavy downpour 2 days to that particular day, that some people here were crying, shouting, all their rooms, houses flooded. Meanwhile, it was blocked by these people. So when they were demolishing those duplexes, while they were crying, these people were thanking God. And that's what kept that thing down. Because what they did was absolutely illegal. There was no approval to that effect. The plans are there. If people should just try and abide by what they are giving. Look at the example of the one that happened in Abuja between our honorable minister and the Navy boy. They submitted an application and they told them that you cannot build in this area. They rejected it. They went ahead. They went there at foundation that you should stop. They refused. At first floor, they refused. And at roof, they go there and do their work. If they have listened to the government that you cannot build there, it's the same problem. You have land use which is already divided the land. And this is a major area in Lagos. You have an area that has been designed for residential, and somebody wants, because the place is beside brow, and you want to come and put up an office complex. No. You have an area that is for industrial, and you now want to go there and put up a residential. There are consequences to this. And if you refuse, and there was a site that I also visited on inspection, and the person had 2 policemen, and they refused us giving entrance there until we come back to the office with the full team. That's what happened. Our officer would normally go there. They go out in 2 or 3. Most of those sites, when you have security there, do you think a policeman or soldier boy will allow one officer to come and mark wrecks? They will send them away. In some cases, they even detain them. They will have to go and get them. And that's what happened in a trade fair, for example. Officers have been going there, but they refuse them. They arrest them until we go there. So the day we now confronted them with the force, it became a national issue. And go and see what they've done there. It's total shanty. As a Nigerian, I cannot be proud to go outside and say, I have a Lagos trade fair. When you open the door of your store, and the door is already swinging onto the road. So people that are coming to buy something in those shops, where would they stay? The trucks that are bringing in where would they park? Hey, we should learn to do the right thing. It's very simple. So either it's environment or physical planning, it seems that once it's wrong, it's wrong. And in fact, I did that there is nothing stopping us from having a rail line from Lagos to Ibadan to Oyo, Adwekit, all the Ondo and back to Lagos, so that somebody can leave in the morning and say, I'm bringing my plantain from Akure to Lagos on a train that will run under 3 or 4 hours. You come, do your business, and you go back. So these plans are there, but again, there are a lot of things. If one governor is fighting, empowering Amotekun for Hausa fly not to overcome them, and you are now talking of railway, it's okay. Hold on first. Let me first secure my people. But the plans are they are there, and we are discussing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. It's been quite wonderful.
In addition to that, there is what is called multimodal Southwest Multimodal Transport Unit within the Dam Commission. This has been on for almost 4 years, ever before the. So, if you have any proposal, Professor, sir, if you have any proposal on what you are talking about, you can submit it and to be taken care of. You can't deny anybody from entering Lagos. You understand my point? So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate everyone and the comments.
Hello, one more. Okay, sorry. Let me just provide a little insight into question asked by Director Development Partners. I think Lagos State need to do more in rural development. Like I said the other time, some of the efforts that were for good intentions turning out unexpected outcomes. So I had the opportunity of studying the Chinese economy because I'm the Director Institute of Nigerian China Development Studies, and we not only go there. This week, my university has also been there. So what I observe is development, vertically not of two things, industry and agriculture. And that's why when you go through their train, once you leave Shanghai till go, you won't ever see anybody. Then what they now do is this: within the farm areas, they create an estate, though by government, where people work in the farm will stay at a lower price, and that allowed that. So I think in Lagos also, we may resist the expansion of all this real estate, not housing, real estate, into our areas, because what do is land banking. The land was just bought and kept there to. I pity people from a pay now. What's going to happen in the next 10 years? And what are people looking in the cities? It's money, it's income. Once they can get job, can we also expand our tech to different clusters? Not now, to in Ikorodu and Co, because all come to Yaba. But if it over, because when they come to Yaba, they don't. Let's see if we can create more industries in those rural areas. I was discussing with the villages. These are areas where attract people. Then we can create entertainment village also. And that cannot be in the cities. You can't expect to create 20,000 all in maybe in VI now. It's going to create more traffic problem. But if you put it in Badagry, put it towards end of Ikorodu, then it will take traffic away from the city centers and create a new. But the need for coordination, and this cannot be done at local government level because involved at the state level, not at the federal. Thank you.
Prof. We are now at the end of the section, and we'll be wrapping it up with a group photograph. But before we go for the group photograph, I would want to take the vote of thanks for Mr. Lekan Balogun, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Economic Planning and Budget.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Protocol tried to give me a list of protocols, but I think the day is fast spent. And if we're in agreement for not to do any protocols here right now, please, a round of applause for that. It is my honor to deliver the vote of thanks here today on behalf of the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. Today's roundtable has been rich, engaging, and deeply insightful. The conversations held here have helped clarify the pathways for Lagos State's economic direction in 2026 and beyond. We appreciate the depth, the diversity, the words shared today are a target, as a lot of advices that were given here today are actually aligned with the estimates already presented by Mr. Governor on the 25th day of Mr. Upper George for his visionary leadership
and strategic guidance, rather, of the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. I express our sincere gratitude for your coordination, your commitment to institutional excellence, and your role in fostering the kind of collaborative environment that makes engagements like this meaningful. Choices of Lagos State's 2025 Economic Review, Urban Regeneration, the Omeko Water Transportation Revolution, and the Creative Economy. Your inputs have been invaluable in shaping our strategic considerations for the year ahead. We also appreciate our development partners, private sector collaborators, academia, civil society organization for your continued partnership and your dedication, inclusivity, and a global competitive Lagos. A special appreciation goes to the organizing committee and the Economic Intelligence Department of the Ministry. Your meticulous planning and seamless execution day. Your perspective remains central to shaping policy ministry of on behalf of the ministry. We look forward to deepening our collaboration as we continue to work together to build a Lagos that is innovative, prosperous, and inclusive for all. Thank you very much. Safe journey back home. Igbiga Ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Àjùmọ̀ṣe.